Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
We got quite a break today. Driving in, when you step outside and you feel that blast furnace hit you in the face every morning. It's been 90 or more every morning coming in lately. Today, just 88 degrees.
It was 87 when I walked out.
Was it really?
Yeah, man. I almost put a sweater on.
Yeah, oh yeah. If my wife would have been out there, Burr, it's cold. I'm cold, Burr. Burr, I'm cold.
Yeah.
It's cold, Burr. Yeah, it's 88. So there you go. That global warming, it's killing us.
Record temperatures.
Everywhere.
Never hotter.
Completely unprecedented.
The last 100
in the history of the world.
years?
120,000 years. Thank you, Jeffy, for bringing that up because...
You should run for Congress, Jeff.
Yeah.
You're qualified.
120,000 years. That was a claim, of course, from Ilhan Omar. Hottest day, the other day, she said, 120,000 years. So...
It's on record.
National climate emergency now. Come
it's
on.
record.
So obviously, what an asinine thing that is to claim.
You have to believe even she knows that, right?
I don't
Maybe
think she does. I don't think she does.
No.
Gabriel Fahrenheit came up with the scale of his in, the early 1700s. 1720-ish.
That's like 118,000 years ago. Okay, so it's close.
No, it's really not. But, yet while they had the Fahrenheit scale, they didn't keep reliable records until the 1800s, 1840s or something. I don't know. But
and that wasn't everywhere. That was only just specific spots.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. The warmest right now would be having a cow if similar claims were made by someone on the right during winter, This is the coldest day in 936,000 years. This is the coldest winter in 2.4 million years. There's never been a colder winter. But right now, what's going on? What's actually happening? It's hot in the northern hemisphere, where it's summer. And it's really cold in the southern hemisphere, where it's winter. Weird. That's really that's unprecedented. That's never happened before. But yeah, it's summertime. This is what happens in the summertime. It gets hot, and sometimes it stays hot for an unusual period of time.
So you just took a measure of time, it sounds like, and if I'm stepping out, I apologize here, but so you're saying that this period where we're experiencing similar temperatures of in this case it's heat.
Yeah.
You're saying you're assigning a name to it.
Yeah,
you're
like summertime.
So we should call that maybe
summer.
Like a season? Something like that? We could do that?
The season of summer. Yeah. Yeah, and I would say, generally speaking, not in Texas, but I would say, generally speaking, there's 4 of those.
Really?
As you would say,
carved
seasons.
out an exception there, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's us.
That's crazy. I'm so tired of it. And, if you were to do this in the winter, what would they tell you? If it got unusually cold, and it wasn't supposed to be, we get an early cold blast in October. I think that happened here last year. Don't confuse weather with climate. Okay.
And they do all the time.
And they do every single time.
Of course.
Or they would say, this is also their other out. Well, yeah, that's because of climate change as well. It's unusually cold in the winter and unusually hot in the summer. That's all climate change. So they have it both ways. Not just both ways, but every which way. Anything you can say, well, yeah, that's climate change. That's weather weirding. We've been trying to tell you about the weather weirding.
Oh.
What is it you didn't understand about that? It's weird, right? Yeah, and it's unprecedented.
We need to spend trillions of dollars.
That would be great. Yes, let's spend hundreds of trillions of dollars. We don't have. And we'll just we'll just digitally spend it.
Yeah.
Which would be better. Okay. All right. Also coming up in 90 minutes, John Lott from crimeresearch.org be joining us. He was a big part of the Glenn Beck book, Control.
I love John.
He's good. He's one of the guys that helps keep the Second Amendment alive.
No kidding.
That's a fair point.
So we want to talk to him about the letters the ATF has been sending out to some gun owners. We want to talk.
Don't you mean criminals?
Yeah, the criminals. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ask him about the IRS showing up at gun shops around the country, demanding purchase records. So that'll be at the bottom of hour 2 today. Should be fascinating. Oh, and I want to talk to him about the lies the administration's been telling.
You couldn't buy a cannon in the beginning.
Well, yeah, you could.
Wait, hold on.
You
want to talk to John Lott about the lies the Biden administration has been taking? How long do you think this show is today, man?
7 hours. It's a 7-hour show today. Remember Joe Biden's packed schedule? I think
yesterday
brought
we
it up
went over it.
yesterday.
Yeah.
He had, get this,
Well, he's a busy man.
2 meetings yesterday. 2.
Wasn't one.
Try to count that high again. See if you can do it today, because nobody could do it yesterday. See if you can count to 2. One. 2. You see how long that takes? It's a long, long process.
I didn't even get there.
I would have been copying off of your test if we were in class together.
You'd probably have to, because it's really, really difficult. But here's how sharp he was yesterday with Israeli President Isaac Herzog.
And we brought Israelis and Palestinians together at a political level, and Accra and Al Shram. And as I affirmed to Prime Minister,
I mean,
is it just me, or could you not? I couldn't.
No. He's
there was
mumbling.
Maybe 2 or 3 words.
It looks like he's asleep. He might as well have been.
He's just looking down at his notes, obviously, in his lap.
His notes.
And Herzog is looking around like, is somebody going to jump in
I know. Is this a medical emergency?
What are we doing?
Did he just have a stroke? Probably a series of them, Isaac. Probably. So, but don't worry about it.
Welcome to America.
Happens every day. We're used to it now.
Yeah.
We don't even bat an eyelash anymore.
Yeah. You visitors over here, you haven't seen this up close and personal.
Play that again. That's amazing.
Embarrassing? Oh, yeah. Amazing. That's
amazingly
the word.
embarrassing.
Israelis and Palestinians together at a political level, and Accra and Al Shram.
Look at him.
And as I affirmed to Prime Minister.
Oh, my gosh. Jeez.
I mean, if I cared enough, I'd go back and actually watch the whole thing, because I'd like to see how long that actually lasted, because that's the clip that's been that went viral yesterday from this. But I don't care enough, because if I see the whole thing, I'm going to get more angry than I am.
That's where I am with KJP press conferences. She doesn't answer anything. It's a waste of my time.
Zero.
It's a waste of time.
It's unbelievable.
I'm not going to get into that
because
I haven't gotten a readout on that. You'll have to go to the Department of Justice for that answer.
What's the president think? Well, we're happy with this.
I haven't talked to him about
them.
that. Yeah.
I've got nothing on that. No. Wow, really? Have you ever talked to him? Have you met the president yet? You're his spokesperson. So shouldn't you be spokesing? I guess not. Because that doesn't seem to be the gig anymore.
No, it does not.
Over the past 2 days, we've had Pentagon brass weighing in on abortion, too, which is great.
Oh.
That's good. They're upset with Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah.
Holding up the military promotions. And here was John Kirby the other day.
Doesn't want us paying for their travel to abortions. Yeah.
Why is the new DoD policy on abortion critical to military readiness?
Good
question.
I'm really glad you asked that question. No, I mean, I really am. 1 in 5 members of the U.S. military are women. 20%.
So? And?
We're an all-volunteer force. Nobody's forcing you to sign up and go. People volunteer to go. You raise your right hand and you say, I'm gonna do this.
Right.
For a few years or even for my life. And it might cost me my life to do it. And when you sign up and you make that contract, you have every right to expect that the organization, in this case the military, is going to take care of you, and they're going to take care of your family.
Okay, wait. I have every right to assume that if I get pregnant with an unwanted pregnancy, I have every right to believe the taxpayers are going to pay for my abortion?
He's getting there.
Okay.
He's getting there.
In case the military is going to take care of you, and they're going to take care of your families. And they're going to make sure that
they're
you
going
can
to kill
serve
your
with
baby,
dignity
of course,
and respect, no matter who you are or who you love. or how you worship or don't. And our policies, whether they're diversity, inclusion, and equity, or whether they're about transgender individuals who qualify physically and mentally to serve, to be able to do it with dignity, or whether it's about female service members, 1 in 5, or female family members being able to count on the kinds of health care and reproductive care specifically that they need to serve. That is a foundational, sacred obligation of military leaders across the river. I have a son in the Navy. I think you all know that, and son-in-law too. They're both stationed down in Norfolk on destroyers. And they're proud to keep serving their country in the Navy. But the Navy told them where to go. You go where you're told. That's the way orders work. You go where you're assigned. You don't get to choose.
What does this have to do with
if you get
abortion?
assigned to a state like Alabama, which has a pretty restrictive abortion law in place, and you're concerned about your reproductive care? What do? Do you
have
say
the
no
baby.
and get out? Well, some people
Or
may
you
decide to do that.
don't
And what does
get
that mean? That
pregnant.
means
Right.
we lose talent.
Okay,
My
so
gosh.
what this is
I can't take
Tuberville
it.
doesn't want tax dollars going to pay for the transportation.
Right.
If you're stationed in a place that, God forbid,
didn't
allows
have any say
babies to
over.
live.
Yeah. How horrible is that? Yeah, then we've got to obviously take you somewhere else so you can kill that baby. Yeah. I see. Okay. That makes a lot
That's
of
what
sense.
they're acting so upset about. Yes.
Jeez, I can't stand it with these people. They're the worst.
Oh, maybe we don't play the next clip then.
They're the worst. Oh boy. Secretary Lloyd Austin got involved too.
This guy is good too. It makes me proud that the military is
In the
the
hands
military.
of these people.
This guy.
Uh-huh.
He's worse
1 in
than
5
bad
of
as
my
Milley.
troops, our troops, are women.
Pause it for a second. And
Talking
again,
point.
That's not a high percentage, by the way. Well, 1 in 5. They seem to be really proud of the 1 in 5. That's 20%. Okay, 80% are not. So why are we so laser focused on the, maybe 0.1% of the 20% that are ever going to get pregnant unwanted and have to go do something about it in the military?
You want to know why? It's because the left thinks that is the argument that helped them out during the midterms.
That is why.
With the Supreme Court overturning
Yep.
Roe v. Wade. So, hey, let's paint Republicans, conservatives as hating women
And I'm sure
because we think it worked in 2022.
it's incredibly rare. When it's they who hate the women, we're the ones trying to protect women right now. From
that's
men
for sure.
in locker rooms, in bathrooms, on the field of competition. We're trying desperately to say, look, men don't belong in those competitions. Nope, they're fine with it.
God, what a bizarro world.
All right, let's hear the rest of this. Jeez.
1 in 5 of my troops, our troops, are women. They don't get a chance to pick where they're
Pick where they're
assigned.
assigned.
It's
We
the
just
same
heard
Serving
talking
the
this.
point.
country,
Yep.
they're sacrificing each
They
and
probably
every
have
day.
the same memo in front of them.
Yep,
They deserve, in my view, and in the view of our leadership,
they deserve abortions.
to have access to non-covered reproductive health care.
On non-covered
And that's what it's
reproductive
reproductive
health care.
And
That's not reproductive. I mean, that's
focuses
just
on
asinine.
health care, non-reproductive health care, which includes other things like IVF and some other things.
What are
So
those other things?
it's important that our
See, he didn't
troops,
get as far
our
down the
women
list as
understand
Kirby.
that we care about them. That
Trans care.
we understand that they don't get a chance to choose where they're assigned.
Oh, there's
and
that
so this
one.
policy helps them maintain access to that health care.
Okay.
Jeez.
America has fallen.
It's amazing how, seriously, they worship at the altar of abortion. They love abortion above almost
It
all
animates
else.
them.
It does. This is the most important thing in their world, is that they can kill babies. If they can't kill babies, they don't know what to do with themselves.
Well, Pat, I don't know if you know this, but 1 in 5 women serve in the military.
Oh,
is that right?
Are
wow.
women.
You're talking a full 20%?
That's correct.
Huh. Well, then we better give them the opportunity to
deserve.
have abortions.
Thank you.
They do deserve to have an abortion. Everybody deserves abortion, don't they?
They have a right.
They have a right.
They have a right.
Yeah, to have
Reproductive
non-reproductive care.
Military.
I like it when he got it. He got it right. I think the first time he said, "I
I don't know, non-covered reproductive.
Yeah.
Well, then he realized, oh, wait, no, you're not reproducing if you're having an abortion. Then that's non-reproductive healthcare. All right. I can't take it.
Mm-hmm.
Did he just mention the women in the military? The National Guard recruitment video says that gender doesn't matter. Right? Isn't that what it says?
Mm-hmm.
So why even mention gender then?
Right.
I was an active duty Army brat, and all I wanted to do growing up was be part of the military and serve my country and be part of something bigger. I waited until Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed, so I actually joined when I was 32. My MOS is 12 Alpha. I'm an engineer officer. And that means both the construction type of engineering, building things and making bridges. It also means combat engineering, which is building obstacles, destroying obstacles, demolitions, all of that fun stuff.
I know, that's awesome.
When I became an officer, infantry and armor weren't open to females. And the combat side of engineering wasn't open until about 2016 or so. I was drawn to it just because I like the technical aspect and, again, like getting my hands dirty, and my teams have always been very welcoming. It's about what you know, it's about teamwork, it's about taking care of your soldiers. So really, as long as you show that you can build trust in your team and that you take care of your people, gender doesn't matter.
Oh, well, gender doesn't matter. So why do we keep hearing there's 1 in 5? 1 in 5 are women.
Yeah. So gender doesn't matter, and as Pedro Gonzalez said on Twitter, apparently recruiting numbers don't either. That's where we're at, y'all.
Oh, man. And in this insanity in D.C., Democrat Representative Rosa DeLauro, she's great. Gosh, she has been in Maryland since we lived there, since Glenn and I worked at B104 in Baltimore in 1990. She has been, and she was there before we got there.
Right.
Wow. I mean, get out. She sucked then. I can't imagine how bad she must be now.
I mean, she's been there so long. You'd think that she's good.
No. But no, you'd be wrong if you thought that.
So, what this rant you're about to witness is because in the committee, the Republicans had put an amendment forward to like strip funding of weird LGBTQ stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so that's what set her off here. So obviously it's going to be a righteous rant now that I've set it up like that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is there no limit on how low you will go to break the faith and trust which this committee is supposed to operate, all to placate the whims of some who, I might add, in looking historically, do not ever vote for appropriations bills? You are negotiating with terrorists.
Oh, I thought that phrase was verboten. I thought we weren't supposed to be using that in politics, right?
Oh, right.
But Democrats constantly use that.
All the time. Well, they can use any phrase they want. They can talk Nazis. They can talk
power in the D.
Terrorists. They could, yes. That's all fine. Don't worry about it. You know, as we're just talking about abortion, let me just share with you a place where you can do something about it. You can get involved in this whole discussion because we, of course, are experiencing the impact of abortion in our lives right now. The breakdown of families, the trauma that comes from a woman being pressured to have an abortion, and the steep decline of morality that justifies this atrocity. So how then are we going to respond? Do we stand back and say, this too shall pass? Don't worry about it. It's too contentious. Let's just not talk about it. Did that for too long, way too long. So it's time to rise up and say, I will stand for the innocent. Preborn stands for the helpless. Because of your generosity, Preborn is able to offer free ultrasounds to women. And once the woman hears the heartbeat, sees the baby in the womb, it dawns on them so often. I mean, they're more than double the likelihood that they will choose life afterwards. So when your grandkids ask you, Grandma, Grandpa, what did you do about abortion back in the days when that was legal and prevalent? You can say, well, I saved a life through Preborn. I donated $28. Or, if you can afford it, $144 will get you 5 ultrasounds. $28 for one. But if you can only afford $1, please do that. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/Pat.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Yeah, okay. I mixed up my East Coast jobs. It was Connecticut, not Maryland.
Yeah.
So that was 2 years later. So she's only been there for
she's 80 years old.
a solid 31 years. How long she been in office? Because she was there before we got there.
That's good for 80.
Doesn't she, though? Yeah, she's great.
80 years. I mean, the purple, right? It's the purple hair that you're digging on that.
I don't have a problem with the purple hair.
Yeah, I don't either. Especially on an 80-year-old. No. Just looking to see here. 1990, it looks like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, so that's only
not
33 years. That's not bad.
Yeah. No, but as a general rule, Jeffy, I don't have a problem with dyed hair. I would just say that if it's on an 80-year-old woman ranting in Congress, standing up when she should be sitting down and being respectful, then it just adds to the flair. I mean, she's a head case. What out of 435 members, how many do you think are certifiable? How many are nuts?
400.
I think that's about 400.
Yeah. You can maybe get 35 who aren't. Maybe. And then there was Chantel Brown, also a Democrat, of course, continuing to lie about gas stoves.
These people, man.
Oh, my God.
Let it go.
Please.
I regret that this committee continues to hold hearings on things that do not exist, like a bogus ban on gas stoves, while ignoring the real economic and energy issues affecting people across this country. Could it be that this is part of an effort by my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to distract from the numerous wins of the Biden administration?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
No.
What world is she in?
Wow.
That is awesome. I don't know. Did she write that speech 6 months ago and just now dusted it off and started to use it? Because, I mean,
I would like her to explain the numerous wins.
The gas stove thing is a thing.
Yeah,
lady.
it is a thing. It's happened in California. It's happened in New York. It's happening all over the country. What are you talking about? Why don't you open up your eyes?
That's a 6-month-old speech.
You know what? It sounds like you, Pat, are just trying to distract away from the numerous wins of the Biden administration.
Right. Yeah, I don't want people to realize
my gosh,
how many victories that guy has pulled off. Woo-wee. Oh, man. Plus, members of Congress were asked about the White House cocaine scandal, too.
This is so good. This reporter stands
Fox, right?
outside.
Yes, I'm mad at Fox.
Oh,
Not
no.
you. You're great. But I'm mad at Fox. What's up?
Okay. I wanted to know if you have concerns that there was an illicit substance brought to the White House and no one seems to be able to find out whose it was.
I'm concerned always about illicit substances. No harm, no foul, and we move on.
Oh!
Yeah.
Jamal
So
Brown.
he's not.
No
Right?
harm, no foul.
He's
we
the
move
guy
on. It's
who
an
was
independent investigation. We closed it. We're good.
Yeah.
So he's the guy who was screaming at Thomas Massey in the hallway. Remember that? I mean, that guy is insane. Again, let's add up how many people are insane in the U.S. Congress. But I like how this reporter was just hanging outside the Capitol and just starts grabbing these Democrats one after another, asking them about this cocaine scandal. And we just talked about how that lady dusted off a 6-month speech about gas stoves. Well, I don't know what these people do other than just rant and complain about conservative constitutional principles, because they're not apparently reading the news, watching the news.
Right.
Like this lady here who has no idea about the latest update on the Freudian slip, the cocaine scandal at the White House. Watch this lady.
We need to do an investigation. If there's an illegal drug, find who.
They're ending their investigation, though. Is that a problem?
They need. I think that. I'm sorry. I'm just not up on the details. I didn't know they were ending the investigation.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
What are we?
That is Alyssa Slotkin. I don't know where she is. Let's see. Who put her in office? What state was that?
I mean that.
No idea. She had no idea the investigation was ended.
Thank you, New York State.
Okay, that's great. Wow.
Or is it Michigan? Or she was born in New York. Thank you, Michigan. Okay.
Then there's the Representative Yum Yum. Okay, no, he just slept with Yum Yum. Eric Swalwell had this to say.
Why do you think the
Having an
Secret
alleged
Service
affair with a
doesn't
Chinese
care
spy.
that
How you
cocaine was
do-
found at the Biden White House?
Oh, I hope they care. There's
thousands of people who go in and out of the White House.
No.
If you all want to be strip searched,
Not in that area.
For substances before you go into the White House, that's something that, you should work with the Secret Service to see if they can accommodate.
Having an alleged affair with a Chinese spy, I refer to as Yum Yum.
What a smarmy
such
piece
a
of
douchebag.
garbage.
Such a piece of crap. Oh, jeez. There was more fun from Swalwell yesterday. Here's what he had to say about the Hunter Biden laptop.
Chairman Jordan complained that in the 2020 election, he believed that the FBI prevented the public from seeing more of Hunter Biden's laptop. If you can believe that. That the Republicans would have won the 2020 election if more Americans could have seen a private citizen's non-consensual nudes. That was Chairman Jordan's complaint.
Jeez.
They're doing that. That's going to be their angle.
That's not what it was, douchebag. It was the fact that he had all kinds of emails to his dad, all kinds of evidence there about what was going on with him and his dad and his business dealings with foreign entities. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but let's read the tea leaves there. I mean, that is Eric Swalwell probably telegraphing the playbook coming up for the Democrats.
Yes, that's what they're going to talk about.
It worked for them with Clinton, and they're going to try this with Hunter. Hey, it's his private computer. What are you freaks doing? Why do you care what's on there?
You just want to see his naked pictures? That's what you want?
Well,
you disgust me.
Okay, Jeffy definitely is. Look, I went through research. It's research. I'm doing research for the show. I don't know, man.
There's just so much on the Bidens. But where's the impeachment process?
Right.
Why haven't we had that happen yet? I mean, they've filed articles of impeachment, but we haven't gotten the process going yet. Let's get the process going. Donald Trump talked about that last night on his Fox News town hall.
Now, that's only the stuff they found. There's a lot of other things, and there'll be some things that you never find, but there's a lot of other things. So he's getting millions of dollars illegally from China, and then you say, hey, they impeached me over a phone call that was perfect. Why aren't they impeaching Biden for receiving tens of millions of dollars?
Right.
Why isn't he under impeachment?
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
Why not? Like, what is?
I don't know.
What is the holdup? Do we know at this point? Like, what is taking so long? Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, you've got plenty right now to impeach this guy. Plenty.
And you don't even,
way more than they had on him.
Yeah, you don't even have to look at the laptop.
No.
Right? I mean, just look at his inability to function as a human being. If they're not going to invoke the 25th Amendment? Is that the one? That's the one? Whatever one. If the Democrats aren't going to say, yeah, we need to get him out, just let's make it official. Let's do the process.
And they're hanging on by the fingernails right now. Mm-hmm. And that guy, they don't want to get rid of him for whatever reason.
I'm surprised Gavin Newsom isn't on the phone feeding information to Republicans at this point.
He may be.
Yeah. He wants to run so bad.
Yeah.
So badly. He can taste it.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a new West Virginia poll that shows, some solid support for Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It looks like in a West Virginia poll of GOP voters, Donald Trump has a slight lead on Ron DeSantis by 60 points, 78 to 18.
They arrest him again.
Oh,
that'll go up to
100. It'll be 100.
Yeah. So what's the next thing that Trump's got to face something with January 6th coming down the pike?
Yeah,
stop.
I know.
Stop.
I know.
And
they're not, though.
And the Department of Justice.
Jack Smith is still...
Yeah, Jack Smith's insane. The Department of Justice now trying to go after some of the J6 defendants that have been convicted, and they're wanting harsher sentences.
Like, oh my gosh.
They're like, we need to go back and I don't even know how you would
They've
even
given 18
do that.
years to people who didn't even go in the Capitol building.
Yeah.
How do you get any harsher than that? What do you want, the death penalty for these people because they milled and paraded?
They absolutely want that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they're basically saying that they're appealing. And I mean,
unreal.
This is a government that's absolutely out of control. And it dovetails nicely with our conversation coming up with John Lott.
Anybody who didn't cause violence against anybody else should be pardoned right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, and just sent home. It's asinine. All right, more coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Got a few tweets here. Anna for Real T tweets, really listen to what Kirby says about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Paying for travel for abortions is the first step to paying for sex reassignment surgeries. Oh, no question. That will happen. I mean, they volunteered, so you should expect that to be covered as well, right? Yeah, because they volunteered. Sure. You should expect everything to be covered. They can do whatever they want because they volunteered. Lutheran housewife tweets, someone should tell our devoutly Catholic president about this abortion situation. As commander-in-chief, it shouldn't be too difficult for him to fix this. Maybe Cardinal Tobin should call him up. Yeah. The Right Meme tweets, if they made the game Risk today, you'd be able to change your soldiers' genders and your men would have periods. Okay.
Sadly.
Probably. You know? All right, let's get to chewing the fat here.
You ever play Risk?
Excuse me?
Did you ever play Risk?
Oh, of course I played Risk.
Did you carve out 2 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Don't bump the table.
By the way, we're all over social media. YouTube.com/Pat Gray. Pat Unleashed on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, which is pretty much dead already. Threads is dead.
Yeah.
You'll also leave a podcast review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. Rate it 5 stars, and then others will have access to it as well. Pops up on the top or something, and more people will see it and enjoy it like you do. BlazeTV.com/Pat. Through Friday, we got the $30 off thing. $30, Pat30. Enter the promo code Pat30, and you get $30 off. Now the last few strains.
Are you done?
There they were.
Done with your little promo during my open?
Well, yes.
I mean,
yes, because I'm sick and tired of it. All right, here's Jeffy with Chewing the Fat.
So Powerball drawing tonight, estimated $1 billion. $516.8 million cash payout. Looking forward to it.
Oh, okay. So if you get it all in one lump sum.
Yeah. 516.8.
Wow, that's a lot of money. I could make that work. I could make that work.
Mega Millions last night, no winner. So Friday night's drawing is $720 million.
Who cares about that?
$369.
That's not even worth playing.
Million cash option.
No, thank you.
I know it's like
it's not even
you
worth
look at it up on the board. You're like, nah,
nah. Is that worth $1? Nah.
Well, it's $3.
Oh, is it?
It's $3. Well, $2 for the regular one, but if you want the multiplier or the cash payout with the Powerball, that's $3.
And as Jeffy says. You can't win if you don't play.
Thank you. Yeah,
do you play every time?
About that. No, not every time.
But when it gets like this, you play?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And how many times have you won so far? I mean, just so far.
Well, big money or just regular
like
money?
Any money.
I've won
like how much?
My wife just won $20 not long ago.
$20?
And I've won
that changed your life.
A few tens,
am I right?
A few $10 winners.
You guys move?
Couple of $2 winners.
How are you still here?
You get a bigger home?
Roll it into cash. Yeah.
What are you doing here?
What I did is
$20.
I reinvested it.
Oh, okay.
That's what you do.
All right. Save it for retirement.
Save it for some more lottery.
No.
I
reinvested it in the lottery.
Oh, okay.
You're for education.
You're right.
Education. He's looking out for the future. Yeah.
Have you ever won a decently big, like more than $100?
I think I won a couple $100 a long time ago in the Florida lottery.
Yeah.
When Florida lottery first started, but I mean it's been a long time.
The chances just aren't good.
Yeah, they're not.
To win the big fat prize.
However,
you can't win if you don't play.
I mean, if you hit.
Where was that jingle? Was that in New York or was it Connecticut?
It's nice.
You can't win if you don't play. It's in my head. It's been in my head for 40 years.
It's nice to really think about winning.
Yeah, well,
that was $500 million.
Would you even call? I wouldn't even make that.
$500 million.
I'd let you guys guess. Where's Pat today?
That song's been in your head for 40 years now, though?
Yes.
So
it was an effective jingle.
Kudos to Air Supply for interrupting that.
Yeah,
my favorite. My favorite post was the guy in the street on top of a car with the billboard sign that says "The end of the world is coming," and the caption is, "Bet he'd feel different if he won the lotto."
Yep.
Yep. It's a mighty week for Taylor Swift on the old Billboard 200. I'm a fan. She collects her 12th number one with "Speak Now," Taylor's version, surpassing Barbra Streisand for the most among women, while she becomes the first living artist in nearly 60 years with 4 concurrent albums in the top 10. So she replaces 11 albums on the entire 200 position.
I don't get it. I mean, she's okay, but this kind of success is incredible.
She's the first woman, the first living soloist to have 11 concurrently charting albums on Billboard's 200 since the list was combined separate mono and stereo in 1963. The only living act with 6 of the top 20. Prince had 6 of the top 20 after his death. The only act to have placed 9 simultaneous albums in the top 40. The only living act with 10 of the top 10 100.
No.
Prince had 15 of the top 100, but that was again after he died. Yeah.
Wow.
And as for the most number one albums, she's tied for third. Yeah, she's tied for third. Now the Beatles are number 1.
Right.
Jay-Z's number 2.
Jay-Z.
Taylor, he has 14 number 1 albums, and Taylor is tied with Drake at 12. And then you have Streisand and Springsteen with 11.
Streisand, that surprises me.
And coming in at number 10, tied at number 10, you have Kanye West, Eminem, and the King.
The King. Charles? King Charles has some albums that we've done well.
Elvis, Aaron Presley.
Oh, okay, all right. All right. How many did he have?
10.
Wow. I'm surprised at that too, because
come on, baby.
Ick.
Oh, what?
I'm not an Elvis
We're gonna
Presley
fight.
fan.
Wow. We're gonna fight.
You know this. You know I'm not a fan.
I mean, I'm surprised you haven't pulled out the Nanner sandwich just to piss me off.
Now I don't think I'm going to, but I was about to. Priscilla, get me out of her Nanner. Okay? So Elvis is dead. Priscilla died, right?
Is that right?
No, Priscilla's alive.
Priscilla's alive?
Fact check that. Elvis died? Come on.
Elvis died.
Really?
Lisa Marie just died. And they're trying to blame Ozempic, and they don't even know she took it.
But really what it is
she had some kind of surgery, right?
Yeah,
she had bariatric surgery.
She had some issues just like Elvis did, and many of Elvis's ancestors did. They all died young.
Really?
You know, the one lady that did the story, gosh darn, what was the name of the book? I talked to her. A great interview. You can go to my YouTube channel, Chewing the Fat with Jeff Fisher. The interview's there, or you can listen to the audio on the podcast of Chewing the Fat, available wherever you get your podcast. I talked to her, and she talks about how the family died young from this one disease, and Elvis had it, and I'm pretty sure Priscilla probably had it as well.
Wow, weird.
Yeah, really weird.
Priscilla is alive, by the way.
Yeah, I know she is.
So just Lisa Marie died. Really sad. She was only, I think, 54.
Yeah, she was young.
She wasn't very old. And I think she also had some kind of surgery, the bariatric thing. Because they're blaming weight loss for some reason. And I don't know, really, because the whole article was about the danger of Ozempic.
Right.
At the end, it said they don't even know if she took it.
Right.
Then what are you talking about?
Well, the one thing that we have to be concerned about with Ozempic, though, I was thinking about you the other day as I was doing the story, is people are suffering from Ozempic butt now.
Ozempic butt?
Ozempic butt. Yeah.
What is that?
It creates, when you take Ozempic, you get a saggy butt.
What?
And so it's part of the...
Why?
That's part of the drug. I don't know.
Really?
So are you willing... are you willing
I'll show you my tight buns if you want to see them.
Whoa. You haven't taken... But you take Monjaro.
I take Monjaro.
Right. I don't know if there's Monjaro,
they're
but...
very similar. Very similar.
The story was specifically Ozempic butt, not Mounjaro butt. So
well, good.
I mean,
that's a relief.
Your buns of steel are safe. How much would you pay, Pat, for an original 4GB iPhone? It was first introduced by Steve Jobs in 2007. Released to the public 5 months later. It quickly became, the most successful product.
Oh, the Apple IV?
Forever changed the smartphone industry. I mean, it was the invention of the year in 2007.
Jeez.
If you could get a brand new iPhone, still in a box, factory sealed.
I wish I had one because I bet it's worth a lot.
How much would you pay?
What do they cost? $100?
Do I also get the America pre-Obama that comes with that, or no?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That'd be nice.
Wouldn't that be nice?
So this particular phone had 28 bids in total. The opening bid
was
$10,000.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm
last
surprised it's not more than
October,
that.
that was the opening bid. Last October, an 8G model sold for $39,339.
Oh, wow.
Then in February, another 8G model. Remember, this is a 4G model, the first one.
That's what I have. I have
sold
the 8G.
for $63,356.
If somebody wants to give me $63,000, they can have my 8G. I'll give it to you right now.
Is it still in the box, unsealed?
No.
Does that person reply to my texts? Is that?
They will. Yeah.
So this original 2007 Apple iPhone sold at auction. $190,372.80.
People are crazy, aren't they?
They sure are.
They're just nuts.
They sure are.
All right, let me tell you about Constitution Wealth. It's no secret that we're in a culture war unlike anything this country's ever seen. We fight every day in our schools for our children, in our churches for our morality and freedom of religion, in our politics, in order to keep the left from turning this land of the free into a Marxist society. They're trying their best to make that happen. But how many of us fight every day with our finances? Constitution Wealth is a group of conservative financial managers that understand even investing has become a battleground and conservatives are losing. Most conservative portfolios are currency funding the very morals and evils that we fight against every day. But you don't have to do that any longer with Constitution Wealth. They believe in fighting the culture war with the talents that God has given us. Financial investments, financially and morally empowering like-minded patriots like you. Financial decisions should be influenced by personal convictions, passions, and values. That's how you become successful, is when it really means something to you. Constitution Wealth will support aligning your values with your financials because they understand that you can greatly increase your portfolio when you invest using your core values, not just the numbers. They respect liberty and freedom and believe in helping people fulfill their God-given potential. Constitution Wealth. They're looking for like-minded people who are ready to invest and potentially change the financial landscape of America. Book a free consultation at constitutionwealth.com/Pat. Speaking of, just 1 second here. About to say something.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Speaking of aligning finances with your core values, I was just reading a thing about a BYU graduate who now works for Arthur Blank, who I know that would get your attention. He, of course, is the owner of the Atlanta Falcons. He's got businesses all over the place.
Co-founder of Home Depot with Bernie Marcus.
Exactly. And he owns many, many businesses. Sure. He's into everything. And there's a guy who works for him now. He's like vice president of marketing or something. And he said that when he went to work for Arthur Blank, he didn't hear the words profit and loss or other business terms for 11 months of working with him. It was always about core values. And if you align your core values with what's right, then you're going to be successful in business.
Right.
And apparently that's Arthur Blank's philosophy.
You hear
it's
a lot
really
of that.
cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I mean, I don't think that he and I would align on politics, but he definitely
seems like a good guy.
Is a good guy. Yeah.
He's got
Everyone
about a 20-year-old wife too, so I'm aligned with his core values.
Does he really have a 20-year-old wife?
I don't know.
It
the
depends.
last time I saw him with the wife on the sideline, she was not of the same age.
Yeah,
and I
okay.
thought,
All right.
I love you. You're good for you.
And what is he, like 80?
He's 80. But so he divorced her. I don't know.
Oh, he did.
He kicked her to the curb. Yeah, because after a while, even the young ones.
She probably got to be 22, 23 years old, and then
get a little long on the tooth.
Wasn't that young?
Does it say how old she was?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I think she was in her 40s.
I just remember she looked like a lot younger. That's all.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, guys like that always marry young. Right?
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, more chewing the fat with Jeff.
All right, let's. We got a couple of minutes here, so we'll just say it's that time of year again for the Tour de France. And when they're not protesting in France, they're standing on the side of the roads watching the old bicyclists ride by. And what happens every year? Someone leans into the road for a selfie, and a crash ensues.
Stupid moron. Oh gosh, that would piss me off.
Oh, I know.
You've trained your whole life for this.
Now, earlier in the race,
idiot gets in your way like that.
Earlier in the race,
plus it's dangerous. It hurts.
Another crash shows bicyclist Daniel Oss colliding with a fan. I think that was the one we just saw. Actually, the first one is the selfie from this year. The one we just saw was Daniel Oss. He broke his neck, I think, in that crash.
No,
yeah.
Jeffy, I sent in a video. Can we just? It might be yours from clip 12. Play clip 12 real quick here. Play that one, please, Joe. Because this one. Is this what you're talking about?
Yes, this was the first one of this year's crash.
Okay.
Oh, no.
At least 10 riders and maybe more there going down in that crash.
Is that where the neck was broken, or was it the other one?
No, it was the other one.
Filming up the road, not looking at
this
the
is the
riders
crash
coming
this year with
towards
the
him.
selfie.
It's like the cell phone is out.
Oh.
And when it comes back in,
I'll tell you this.
Right onto the arm.
The Tour de
and
France is
handlebars
dangerous.
that
I know. Well, the bicyclists have complained a long time about that. Don't forget
They should complain.
the big one 2 years ago with the lady with the sign that was saying hello to her grandparents.
Oh, yeah.
And it had the massive crash.
Come on, people.
We have that. We probably
got that one.
I don't know.
Look at this.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what's happened there. Maybe they clipped the crowd, but whatever has happened.
What is that, 30,
they
40
are in the right
cyclists?
down there at the moment now. How
What
many
a
riders?
nightmare.
Oh, my
Let's
God.
hope. That is a massive crash.
Oh, there goes one.
It was a
2, 3, 4.
It wasn't Wobbly.
And down they
And
go.
the rest of them.
Down they go.
It just went
Could have
down.
been Tony Martin. Yes, it could have
Man,
been.
you're
Could have been.
you're
Oh,
feeling
that's right.
relief if you're ahead of that.
Yeah.
You aren't kidding.
Look at him turn around.
You aren't kidding. I mean, that sign sticks out,
Watch
and
him
it
try
just
to get around his
down
teammate
they go,
and
man.
go down. Oh, it might have
Incredible.
clipped that spectator.
You know what's sad?
Okay.
Is that all the Americans that have won in the last few decades have been eliminated now. You know, like Lance Armstrong, gone. Floyd, what's his face, gone because they were all doped up. Like everybody else wasn't, but still.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here.
I am.
On the Blaze Radio Network.
Thank you for noticing. 888-933-93. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. So now they're calling this U.S. soldier that went across the demilitarized zone in North Korea troubled. A U.S. soldier facing disciplinary action fled across the inter-Korean border into North Korea, where he is being held in custody. Private Second Class Travis King had just been released from a South Korean prison, where he'd been held on assault charges and was facing additional military discipline actions.
And they were shipping him out, right? I mean, he was supposed to be on
headed
his
to
way
Fort
to the
Bliss.
airport.
Yeah.
And he jumped in that tour. And
so he's in his early 20s. He was escorted to the airport to be returned to Fort Bliss. But instead of getting on the aircraft, he left, joined a tour of the Korean border village of Panmunjom, and then he ran across the border. This time of year, it's really lovely. Yeah, it is.
Tear me away from that tour.
No, man. The times I've had on that tour, unforgettable.
Wow.
While crossing the demilitarized zone, or DMZ, as I like to call it, when I'm there,
Right.
He gave out a loud ha ha ha, a witness has said.
That's a quote you're seeing everywhere.
So he is troubled.
Ha ha ha.
So he is troubled.
Yeah.
Boy, he's about to know trouble.
He had joined a group taking a tour of the joint security area, the border village in the DMZ separating the two Koreas, which is heavily guarded by soldiers from both sides. Yeah. So it really wasn't defection. He's just trying to get out of get out of trouble somehow.
And he went the wrong way.
I wonder if prison time in the U.S.
would be better or worse than the prison time in North Korea.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know.
I'd like to believe that.
I was about to say, are you a January 6th defendant?
Right. Jeez. Did you mill or parade?
Yeah.
Because then you want to be in North Korea.
We don't know that he may have milled across the the DMZ, as you call it.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
There's one J6 guy who's appealing to the Supreme Court. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, really?
In that
good.
They've really this interrupting an official proceeding type thing. The way they've, I want to say, turbocharged him on that one. On a lot of defendants. Anyway, so we'll see. They're saying it might set precedent for other defendants if he's successful. But I don't know. Yeah, we'll see, right?
We'll see.
We'll see.
You just never know, do you?
Sounds almost like you don't have faith. So have a little faith.
Just sounds like that, huh?
That's weird, isn't it?
I'll work harder at faking it next time.
Finally, we've got apparently a few responsible doctors on this planet. 21 of them. 21 international doctors wrote an open letter warning against hormones and surgeries as the first line of treatment for youth diagnosed with gender dysphoria. Isn't that fascinating? I thought it was really good for you. And that's gender-affirming care.
And reversible.
Yeah, right. It's perfectly fine. It's just a temporary fix. That's all it is. And then if you decide later on down the road that you really want to go through puberty when you're 22 or 23, go ahead. Get off the drugs and everything will happen the way it's supposed to. No.
I mean, we live in amazing times.
We really do. The letter was published last week by the Wall Street Journal, signed by 21 clinicians and researchers from 9 countries. Countries were Finland, UK, Sweden, Norway, Belgium, France, Switzerland, South Africa, and the United States. Nice. Doctor's letter was in response to a letter published in early July by the Endocrine Society's president, Stephen Hams, who advocated for the use of hormone therapy treatments and life-saving gender-affirming care. Because that's what we hear from these people all the time now. This is saving lives. You're saving lives with a gender-affirming care. None of it makes sense because, A, you're not saving lives. I don't know that the suicide rate is any lower. In fact, it might be higher.
I don't think.
Isn't it 48% who?
It was a lot.
Who make the change commit suicide. So you got that, and then you're not affirming anybody's gender. You're changing it. It's just the opposite of what you're calling it, which is so often the case with these idiots.
And what's her face? Rachel Levin was out spewing her gobbledygook too about all the puberty blockers. Just
and how good it is.
Yeah, it was.
How
really
you should
weird.
allow them to have that.
Yeah,
sure. Just irresponsible. Just madness. How can you call yourself a physician if you're advocating for that? I don't understand it. It's just a weird time right now, isn't it?
It sure is.
It doesn't take a genius to understand that if you're interrupting somebody's natural process in their body, bad things are happening there, right?
Yes.
You've delayed it, and so it didn't happen when it was supposed to. So will it happen, and will it happen the way it was going to if you wait 5 years down the road? Nobody knows how bad this can be because I think it's a fairly new process. And, obviously they've come up with studies now that it is harming people on a permanent basis. And Tucker mentioned that the other day at the big summit.
Yeah.
And was talking to some of the candidates about that. One thing that's really not even debatable anymore is whether or not that's permanent, because it is.
Yeah.
There are permanent changes that are made to your body when you start screwing around with its natural processes. But don't worry about that. That's fine.
I mean, that's what we heard about, young teenagers doing drugs for years, right? How it affects your body, how it affects your brain.
Yeah.
And, you can't go back. And so what's the difference? Again?
Yeah. I don't know. I think the puberty blockers are probably even worse.
Yeah. I certainly would. You could make that argument for sure.
So apparently, a group of friends just attended a Miranda Lambert contest or concert.
Yeah.
It was a concert.
Yeah.
And she's up on stage singing, and this group of friends stopped for a photo, and there it is. There's the photo.
That's cool. She's framed right in the middle, Miranda Lambert, right between the friends.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so they posted it.
Yeah.
And Miranda.
Wait, so, yeah, let's see this video, how she reacted.
Here's how Miranda reacted. She wasn't pleased.
No, she wasn't. She started her song.
Something bound to fall apart.
Something has to fall
I'm going to stop right here for a sec, Danny. I'm sorry.
Oh, boy.
These girls are worried about their selfie and not listening to the song. It's pissing me off a little bit.
Get over yourself.
Okay, 6 people were having a selfie. Well, 7 because there was somebody taking the photo. And you had to stop the concert over it?
We're here to hear some country damn music, he says.
Wow.
Shall we start again?
Should have never stopped.
Right.
Ugh.
I wonder why some of these artists are getting dinged in the face with cell phones.
Hey, don't worry about the pictures we're taking, hon.
All right.
We paid to be here. You got your money.
Unless you're going to take the cell phones away.
Yeah.
When I come into the show.
Yeah.
Or give me a black box bag or whatever they call it, so you put your phone in so you can't record anything.
Right.
But I'm sure that comes out of her pocket, so she's not going to want that because she'll make less money. Amazing.
Are they at some sort of like they probably paid a lot of money for that seat. Look at that view, how close they are.
Yeah, they did pay
and
a lot.
they've got like it's like a suite or something that's really close.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this would be Jeffy territory here. Jeffy, do they give you champagne when you go to these suites, luxury suites? Because it looks like one of them has it in her purse. Like, yeah, we'll be enjoying the rest of this later.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Or they could have brought it in, depending on where I don't know where this event was for Miranda. I'm sorry, I'm not aware of the Miranda Lambert tour schedule.
It says in the upper left corner there, where's the backed theater? Backed theater. Planet Hollywood, Las Vegas.
Oh, there you go. So zip it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they all have their little booths. Yeah, in the venues.
Okay.
Right? Into those big areas. Yeah, so absolutely they're drinking and getting champagne.
And
that's a lot of money.
Aren't professional enough to
keep
just
going,
keep singing.
Yeah, that's dumb.
My word.
How do you even notice it when the lights are in your eyes and you usually can't
flash.
see them?
Maybe the selfie taker. I don't know.
They're not paying attention to me.
Exactly. That's it. I mean, that's their crime. Not paying attention to me.
Yeah. And, how do you not pay attention to Miranda Lambert when she's singing?
Well, I mean,
how do you not? You know what I mean?
I do.
How many
actually.
Miranda Lambert concerts have you been to? I mean, I don't know that I've ever missed one. Except for that one. That was
in Vegas.
Oh, look at you. You're like Barack Obama attending Jeremiah Wright's church. Oh, the one time I wasn't there, he was a racist.
Yep.
My bad.
Darn it.
She's always been great when I saw her.
Yeah, she's terrific. And then for her to stop like that and chastise, concert goers who paid for their ticket.
Right.
And like you said, they're obviously in a nice part of the concert. And that probably cost,
that's a lot of money.
Many hundreds of dollars a piece.
Absolutely.
$600 a piece, $700 a piece. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's no telling because some of those venues
especially in Vegas.
Yeah.
Those are not cheap tickets. So, what a baby. These artists, I tell you. I do think they have an issue when people are throwing cell phones and bottles at them.
They do.
That's a different
and
deal.
people are slapping them on stage, charging the stage, jumping up on stage and slapping them. Yes, that is an issue.
That's different.
I'll give you that.
Didn't Taylor Swift just get hit in the eye by a cell phone or something?
I don't know if it was Taylor.
Was it Taylor?
I don't remember who
And then
it
Harry
was.
Styles got hit with a bottle recently.
Yeah, and another one, a fan jumped up on stage and dinged him in the face as they were singing. I mean, it's
crazy.
I think that was Taylor. I think that might have been Taylor getting slapped in the face. Anyway, I mean, it's bad. And it is bad. It's bad. And that needs to
stop.
It needs to stop. And what's going to happen is they're going to end up, not allowing you to bring your cell phones in and just enjoy the show.
Right.
Which I don't know
Cell
if that's
phones,
a bad
bottles.
I don't know that's a bad thing anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Just enjoy the show. But I don't have it on my phone then. I can't share it on social media.
Apparently the tickets they had were $600. Nice.
Oh, there you go.
$600 a piece.
There you go.
That's a lot of money.
And
That's
the
a lot.
champagne,
You should be able to take as many selfies as you want.
Bottle of champagne in Vegas has got to be what, $5?
And you multiply 6 by 6 because there were 6 of them.
Yeah.
That's $3,600 right there.
That you just yelled at.
I think they earned the selfie.
Too. Absolutely.
Jeez. Shut up. We just played Ron Perlman's Don't Say thing, from the Don't Say Gay Disney deal. Now, apparently, do we have Ron Perlman threatening Hollywood exec?
Oh, yeah. He's a nightmare.
One thing
This guy's a
before I
douche.
get off this. The who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial. Some of it is karma. And some of it is just figuring out who the said that. And we know who said that. And where he lives. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. You wish that on people. You wish that families starve while you're making $27 million a year for creating nothing. Be careful, Be really careful.
Calm down, Ron.
Because that's the kind of that stirs up. Peace out.
This guy should be behind bars.
should.
Or in an insane asylum.
He did, 7 or 8 seasons of Sons of Anarchy. He thinks that that's really him. Okay? It's not. You're an actor. Get over yourself.
Yeah,
He's a
and he has
psycho actor, too.
he has
Psycho.
made another video. I don't know if it was an apology or whatever it was, but he said,
I was just mad.
Yeah.
I was just mad.
Whatever he said.
Don't
Anyway.
say.
There's Mr. Don't Say.
Don't say.
I was distracted, though, in that video. How close is he to his neighbor? Because you would think, if you've made, how much do you think his
that was
net
the
worth
wife
is?
hollered at him, wasn't it?
Somebody,
That's
it's
how I took it.
were they calling out for the dog? Sparky!
I
what
thought
was
that was the
happening
wife
back there?
hollered at him. It was awesome.
One thing before I get off
he
this.
just goes the whole time.
The who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses.
That's what I thought it was.
Who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, There's a lot of ways to lose your house.
Yeah.
Listen to me,
Okay.
Okay.
There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some
Not
of it is
now. I'm making a video.
Some of it is karma.
I'm trying to scare Hollywood executives right now.
Stop
Leave
calling
me
me.
alone, Ethel.
I mean, that could have been the 3rd or 4th time he had a cut. He was mad. Got madder as the time went by.
Oh, man.
Good point.
All right. As central banks in countries like China, India, and Australia begin transitioning to a digital currency, the Fed, of course, has been contemplating the same thing for the United States. And with a digital currency, the government could track every single purchase you make. Officials could even prohibit you from purchasing certain products or even easily freeze or seize part or all of your assets. These are some of the reasons concerned Americans reach out to Birch Gold Group. They want to have a physical asset that's independent from the U.S. dollar. Gold, held tax-sheltered in a retirement account. See if this is right for you. Just text PAT to 989898. They'll send you a free info kit on gold. Go through that. See if you like the details, then go from there. It has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They've got thousands and thousands of happy customers. and countless 5-star reviews. They've been helping my listeners from the very beginning. Text PAT to 989898. Claim your free info kit on gold, because if a central bank digital currency becomes reality, it'll be nice to have gold to depend on. Text PAT to 989898.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
John Lott from crimeresearch.org. He'll be joining us in just a few minutes. Hey, this is kind of good news. It's really good news to me. The Chosen got a waiver on the whole strike stuff somehow. We've all agreed to all of SAG's requests and their interim agreement. Season 4 is entirely independent and 100% funded by donations. But great news, we just received word from SAG that we've been approved for a waiver. And apparently that never happens.
Awesome. Yeah, they got special dispensation from on high.
Yeah?
The Chosen.
Is that true? Right. Yeah. Okay. They're going to
See
continue.
what you did there.
They're going to continue shooting on Monday. So that's pretty awesome. Important update from Dallas on the Screen Actors Guild strike, which starts tonight. Unfortunately, despite the requested work we did on our end, an exemption for us will not be granted in time to avoid a shutdown.
I think that was the original.
That was the original. That was before. But then they did get the waiver, and now they can do it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So if you're a fan of The Chosen, and I am, now I'm guessing you're a huge fan of The Chosen. Jeffy, I bet you've watched every episode, all 3 seasons. You can't wait for season 4.
I was bummed when I read that they had to stop filming.
Right. Yeah. And now you're elated that they don't have to.
They don't have to.
They're going to be able to finish the season.
Break the picket line. They're going to break the strike.
That's good.
So I didn't realize they were that close to season 4 being done.
Yeah.
They're 2 weeks away, apparently. So there you go. They got the waiver. They're going to do it anyway. But a lot of series and shows that you and are waiting for and can't wait to happen.
Not going to happen.
That's not going to happen for a lot of them. Yeah, and there's a lot of those. I mean, Yellowstone probably won't come back, right, for the finish of that.
Good luck. Yeah.
It's probably not coming back.
Never. Yeah, I mean, you'll have the new one start up.
Yeah, eventually.
Because Costner's got other stuff on the...
Yep.
Costner's got other things out in the oven.
Yeah, he's got to move on. He has some kind of Western, I think, himself that he's producing.
Yeah, and he's also, he was mad because we're going to start, there's a new series going to start about the National Park murders. He had talked about. I'm actually looking forward to those shows.
The National Park murders.
There's a lot of murders at the National Park.
Sure.
A lot
really?
of deaths at national parks. Yeah, big time numbers.
That's weird. Why?
Well, there's plenty that are. What's the term? Unexplained deaths.
All right.
Really?
Probably aliens.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that fall over and get eaten by animals, and they starve to death or whatever, freeze to death.
And aliens.
But
people fall over in national parks and are eaten by animals.
So that plenty of that happens hundreds of times a year. But there are people that have unexplained.
At a national park, I think what I'm going to do is get up and proceed with my
Well, you can't
day.
though. You might break your ankle, hurt yourself, and the animal's right there.
And then it's inevitable. Some animals
You may fall over because you're running from an animal.
Oh, okay. That could happen. Sure. Sure. All right. Well, yeah, I can't wait to hear about that.
Anyway, it's just there's all kinds of shows that are just not going to happen. I mean, I always talked about.
Too bad.
I mean, maybe time to give up a few apps. Stop paying for the apps if you're not going to be giving me new content. How about I'm not going to give you new money? And I'm actually considering maybe even just giving up TV.
Whoa! Breaking news.
I am considering that.
Hold on, Pat.
As opposed to doing what? What are you going to do with your time then? Because you spend read. You don't even know how to read.
That's why I would start.
Okay, so where's the real Jeffy? And don't act like this is a big deal if Jeff Fisher gives up TV. We know that they're not going to be making new shows, right? We also know that he's seen every show that's been made.
Yes.
So what's the point of Jeffy having streaming services?
I'm taking a stand.
Good for you.
Taking a stand.
That's powerful.
Darn it.
That's powerful. I mean, eventually they're going to solve the strike, and they're going to be back to producing things, and then what are you going to do?
Well, my fast will be over then.
Okay. All right. Also, Pathead Perfect Fit AR sent us a video that he wanted me to watch regarding the kind of fuel going into his vehicle.
Into your vehicle, baby. Let's see.
Into my vehicle.
We talked about this off the air. Premium is something that you put into your vehicle, right? It's required.
Yep.
Well, this video, Perfect Fit AR, thought that this might be useful for you.
But you shouldn't do premium gas?
Yeah, let's see what this guy says. See what this guy says here.
All right.
Today I'm going to tell you why it's a waste of money putting premium gas in a normal modern car.
Oh, in a normal
now,
car,
the idea about
Unless
premium
they don't
gas
ask
is
for
it can take more pressure before it explodes. But with modern engines having better designs, lower compression, and computer controls, they will all run perfectly fine on regular gasoline. Now, if you take a modern car like a Mustang with a 4-cylinder EcoBoost, it'll run perfectly fine on regular gas. But to get the full 300 plus horsepower, you have to use premium gas. But if you have a modern car like this Avalon that's made for regular gas, if you put premium gas on it, might actually run worse because it's set up to run on gasoline that explodes under lower pressure. So just because premium gas costs more doesn't mean it's better for your car.
Correct. Got it. If you're supposed to have regular gas, you should have regular gas. The premium doesn't help it. Absolutely, especially with the EcoBoost.
I mean,
when I build the cars that I have.
Well, you have more time now because you're not watching TV. You're in your garage.
Build the engine with the EcoBoost, and it gets you right out there. No, I mean they've told us that for forever, right? I mean that's
but my car was made for premium.
Correct.
So
correct, but there are some people and falsely would believe that if I put premium in, it's better for my car. No, not really.
Not if it's made for regular.
Right.
But okay, so there you go. I mean, I'd rather buy the regular. That's for sure. It's a lot cheaper.
It sure is.
A lot. I mean, I was just looking at the octane. It's like, okay, the regular is 87, then it goes up to the middle, which is 89, then 93. So it's 6 octane more. Is that a big difference? It must. I don't know. Is that worth $1 a gallon or whatever it is? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
You're paying it.
Not paying it, so let's hope it is.
Gas is ticking back up again.
All right.
Yes, it is.
We're going to talk to John Lott from crimeresearch.org. He'll be joining us to talk about the Second Amendment and stuff next.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Great to have you with us. We're joined now by John Lott from crimeresearch.org. Of course, he also co-wrote the book Control. Somebody named Glenn Beck, I believe. John, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Listen, we wanted to talk to you about several things, but lately there's been a little issue with what is the story behind these ATF letters that gun owners are receiving from them?
You're talking about with regard to the pistol braces, or you're talking about
yes
with regard to... Well,
there's more letters. We're missing letters. We're more criminals. More, John. What's up?
Well, I mean, ATF's been kind of out of control in many different ways during the Biden administration. So, well, look, Biden wants to make it difficult for people to own guns. They've had these new regulations in effect for pistol braces, and they, first of all, just let people know what a pistol brace is. It's essentially a strap that fits around the gun. It was designed to help people who are disabled, particularly originally people who are in the military that may have lost part of their hand in combat or maybe partially paralyzed, so that they could hold on to the gun when they have the recoil from it. Because otherwise, because of their damaged hand, it may be difficult for them to deal with the recoil from the gun. And And so they've kind of they want to ban it. They want to make people register the ones that they do have, but make it so that they can't use it. And so you have millions of people out there who are disabled who kind of suddenly find that they're not able to use a gun defensively because the pistol bracelet.
I mean, they're legitimately criminals now, right?
Yeah. Well, can face up to 10 years in prison. At least. But I mean, these will be challenged in the courts. It's just my guess is eventually they'll win, but it's still, the Biden administration. Right. This is just part of one of many different things that they're doing. They've been trying to put together a national gun registry. That's one reason for some of the letters that they've sent out in the past. As of the beginning of last year, they had collected almost 1 billion transactions involving guns over many decades. These guys are kind of too cute by half. The federal law was set up to try to prevent a gun registry, and they say, well, the Biden administration hasn't violated that law because even though they've have put together a computerized database of gun purchases, they haven't actually used it, and so they're not in violation of the law yet.
Wow, jeez. We also just read a story about a gun store in Montana where the IRS arrived and demanded purchase records.
Right.
Seems unconstitutional.
It's pretty hard to figure out. First of all, the warrant that they had was extremely vague, very unusual. But secondly, it's not really obvious what the IRS has to do with collecting these so-called 4473s, the records that people have for, filling out the background check information when they go and purchase a gun. Again, it seems likely that this is just part of the Biden administration's effort to go and get information on who's recently purchased a gun. Because what's happened is that when a licensed dealer goes out of business, they are required to go and turn over the records for background checks for the last 20 years. But that doesn't give the government kind of the most recent purchases that are there. And so one thing that they've done is they've sent out letters to a lot of licensed dealers asking them just to turn over recent purchase records.
Just to be nice.
And you have heard also in recent congressional testimony that they had asked Bank of America, for example, to turn over any information that they had on gun purchases by their banking customers.
And I bet you they're doing it, aren't they?
They did do it.
Yeah. That's so bad. So bad.
Incredible.
So here, let me just. So the claim is that this helps them solve crimes to have a gun registry.
Sure.
The problem is that's simply not true. In theory, if a criminal has a gun registered to themselves and they leave the gun at the crime scene, then the gun could get traced back to the criminal and you could solve the crime. The problem is crime guns are virtually never left at the crime scene. And the few times that they are left at the crime scene, it's because the criminal's either been killed or seriously wounded. And the couple times beyond that they're left there, they're not registered. And the once or twice that the guns are registered, they're not registered to the person who committed the crime.
Plus, if we are to believe that we are finding a criminal from the crime scene of a gun from this registry, I thought they weren't using the registry.
Yeah, well, they're just setting it up so that eventually they can use it, I guess. But it's just that's the argument. And the thing is, you have Hawaii, for example, has had gun registry and licensing since 1960. They can't point to one single crime that they've been able to solve.
Wow.
But a few years ago, the Honolulu police chief estimated that just for Honolulu, it was taking about 50,000 hours worth of police time each year just to go and and just to run the registry that they have there. That's 50,000 hours that could be used to do things that we know that work for police. And so, if you had 1,000 crimes that you had solved, or 100, or 50, or 12, or 3, there at least be some trade-off. But if you're losing 50,000 hours worth of police time to go and do something that they can't even point to one single crime that they've been able to solve,
incredible.
That's 50,000 hours that could have been used to solve crimes.
Yeah.
It's just not Hawaii. You have similar things in D.C. or Chicago or New York or Maryland that have had registry and licensing programs.
We're speaking to John Lott from crimeresearch.org. John, let me ask you about a couple of lies we keep hearing from the Biden administration. One of them is that the American colonists couldn't own cannons. So that's in the Constitution. You couldn't own a cannon. How do you respond to that stuff? Well, in the beginning, you could own a cannon, right? Privateers, at least, were private citizens who owned cannons.
I know people today that own cannons.
Yeah.
So, look, even the Washington Post, which, is very reticent to take Biden to task, or Democrats to task anyway, on obvious lies, even they multiple times have kind of focused on that thing and just say, it's even by the Washington Post standards, that that's a ridiculous claim by the president.
Incredible.
And they don't seem to care.
Another thing they like to throw around is the universal background check. How often does that apply? I mean, almost everybody who buys a gun goes through a background check. I've never purchased a gun where I didn't go through a background check. Isn't it just if I want to sell a gun to my son or give a gun to my son, isn't that about the only purchase that doesn't go through a background check?
It depends on the state that you're in.
Okay.
There are about 20 states that require any type of private transfer of guns to
so even
have
that,
a background check.
Even that.
Right, but look, the claim often is this background checks on private transfers are brought up after you've had these mass public shootings. It was kind of Obama's favorite thing to go and point to, and Biden's raised it a lot of times. There's a problem, though. There's not one mass public shooting this century that would have been stopped if such a law had been in effect and been perfectly enforced. And I wish once in a while on some of these laws that are proposed, the media would just kind of go and ask, well, okay, you want to have this, would it have stopped this last mass public shooting?
Yeah.
The answer would have been no. Or could you point to one over the last decade or last 2 decades that it would have stopped? Because they claim they need this for mass public shootings, even though it wouldn't have stopped any of these. But the real reason they want to have this is just to kind of fill the holes in their gun registry that we were talking about. And, they want to make sure that they have not only all the purchases that go through FFLs, but they want to make sure that they know any transfers of guns. And look, the only reason why they really want this national gun registry is to be able to take away people's guns. There's really no other benefit that the government gets from having a national gun registry. And you have situations like in Connecticut. In 2013, they passed a gun registry for many different types of guns. And they promised people, look, we're just going to use this to go and solve crimes. And of course, they can't point to any crimes that they've been able to solve. But earlier this year, the governor of Connecticut came out and said, that registry that we promised that we would never use to take people's guns away, I want to use it to take people's guns away.
Of course.
And fortunately,
how can he do that?
He wasn't able to quite get that through, despite big efforts through the Connecticut legislature. But that was what and you've seen this happen in California and New York and D.C. and Chicago, where they've set up registries and then used it to say, turn in these guns or get rid of them.
Hey, John, earlier you had addressed stabilizing braces, and clearly Thomas Massie is great at demonstrating that his fellow lawmakers are making laws and regulations with no knowledge of what they're speaking of whatsoever. But what prompted us to reach out to you originally was when someone that watches the show, they posted a letter that the ATF sent out in respect to, I think it's the hard reset trigger situation, and it says, hey, call the ATF if, because we know that you purchased this, blah, blah, blah. So I guess my question to you is, do you know what that process is like? Like, when you call the ATF, do they end up telling you to come down there and bring the apparatus that is now unlawful to own? And is this not a Second Amendment violation of, shall not be infringed because it's not a gun per se? Where is that line there? I don't quite follow that.
Right. Well, I mean, they give you a couple options. You can either turn in the item to the ATF, or you can destroy it yourself. With pistol braces, they give you an option to be able to go and register it after you've taken it off the gun that's there. Again, the bottom line seems to be to either use it to create a registry or to just make it difficult or impossible for certain people to be able to go and use their guns in ways to go and defend themselves and their family.
Fortunately, I've destroyed all of mine already.
That's good.
So I don't have to worry about it.
Head of the curve.
Yeah, well, I believe you.
Don't look into it too hard. Don't do a lot of investigation there. The other thing that drives me out of my mind, we mentioned the cannon thing. Biden always brings up the F-16s. First of all, can we own an F-16? If I was an American citizen who had, I don't know, $100 million,
$50 million,
could I own an F-16?
It's a little bit outside my.
Yeah, not exactly a gun. Yeah,
it has guns on it.
I mean, maybe if the guns were removed or something, I don't know. But to be honest, I don't know. I mean, there are restrictions on owning machine guns, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
but you can't own them.
Has machine guns on it.
Yeah.
So that may. You may have to go through kind of special licensing to own part of it. So,
yeah.
And I guess finally, what can we do as American citizens to protect the Second Amendment? How should we be responding to all of the threats against it now?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of threats to it. I'll just give you one example. Biden has this zero tolerance policy for licensed dealers, where if they make one paperwork mistake, no matter how trivial, no matter how inconsequential, over the last 15 years or so, the Biden administration is taking away their license to be able to go and
make a living.
And maybe we should offer to apply this rule to government agencies. If a government agency makes one paperwork mistake, no matter how trivial, we'll put the government agency out of business. And see how Biden likes that. They could, my guess is there's probably not one government agency that would be left. But, I assume over the last 15 years, I probably have made one paperwork mistake sometime.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's just crazy stuff where they're just doing what they can to make it difficult and costly for people to be in business in the industry there.
Yeah, and difficult to be a gun owner, really. One of the backdoor things they're doing is trying to limit our access to ammo, which is a really good way of, these people who keep saying, oh, I'm a Second Amendment guy. I'm all about the Second Amendment. I just don't think people should have ammunition. Or I just don't think you should be able to have a clip that holds, 16 bullets or whatever. Nobody needs that. How do we respond to that?
Well, Biden's made many types of claims. He's said multiple times he wants to ban all semi-automatic guns. About 85% of the guns that are out there are semi-automatic guns.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, civilians benefit a lot from having semi-automatic guns. What a semi-automatic gun is you pull the trigger, one bullet comes out, it reloads itself. You pull the trigger, one bullet comes out, and so on. They're not machine guns, despite what you see on, entertainment police shows on TV. And, the thing is, if you're a civilian, the reason why civilians own these guns so often is that they're very beneficial for you using a gun defensively. If you face multiple criminals, or you fire and miss, or you fire and wound but don't incapacitate the attacker, you may not have the luxury of time for manually reloading a gun. I mean, let's say we ban all semi-automatic rifles. The alternative is a rifle which you have to manually reload yourself, put another bullet in the chamber after firing a shot. And that takes time. Yeah. And when you're, as I say, you have to fire more than one shot, you may not have the luxury of time to be able to go and manually reload your gun. The notion is that somehow if we pass these types of bans, you're going to stop criminals from getting it. I just suggest people go and look at Mexico. Since 1972, Mexico has had only one gun store in the country. Only about 0.1% of the adult population legally owns a gun in Mexico, and the most powerful gun that you've been able to legally buy in Mexico is a .22 caliber short round bolt action rifle. Mexico's murder rate in many recent years has been 6 times higher than the murder rate in the United States. Drug gangs aren't using bolt action rifles to go and fight against each other. The only people that you've stopped from owning semi-automatic guns are the law-abiding Mexicans who go through the process to go and buy the guns that are there. And, you've just made it difficult for civilians to go and use guns defensively compared to, the drug cartels that you have there. The drug cartels bring in weapons from around the world just as they go and they bring in the illegal drugs that they bring in from around the world. And, you're just giving them an advantage over the law-abiding people in the country.
John, appreciate it. Thanks for all you do to protect our Second Amendment rights. Appreciate it. John Lott, crimeresearch.org, if you want to check out his stuff. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, great stuff.
Thank you very much.
All right. I've become, over the years, kind of a bedsheet snob. I really like them to be soft and comfortable and cool. They got to be cooling at night. They can't increase the heat while I'm sleeping because, man, I hate that. Get the stuffy nose. You can't breathe. You're hot like a pig. You're sweating when you wake up. It's nasty. That's why I love these new sheets with self-cooling properties. These are Miracle-Made sheets, self-cooling properties for better quality sleep. They're self-cooling and self-cleaning. It's amazing. They're infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, which is incredible. Luxurious. They're comfortable. And they're designed for your skin. Go to trymiracle.com/Pat. Do that today because you're going to love these sheets. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use the promo code PAT at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, they back it with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not 100% satisfied, you'll just get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Pat. Use the promo code PAT. And claim your free 3-piece towel set, and you save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Pat to treat yourself.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
people talk about the Second Amendment as if they're protecting themselves from the government, but you'd need F-16s.
I love that.
We have
I love
to find
that line
out.
of thinking.
Because we have to find out about the F-16.
Do you remember, and I think you guys watched the documentary,
the Pepsi thing.
The Pepsi thing. It was a Harrier jet that Pepsi was, I mean, they were supposed to give it to this guy who claimed the prize. They brought it in at the end of the commercial, if you remember this. There was a Pepsi promotion, and there were a whole bunch of prizes. And then if you collected, I don't know how many bottle caps it was.
Right,
it was outrageous, or paid some amount of money, then you win a Harrier jet. So there was a kid who did that. I think he was, 18 or 19 or something. He really wanted the Harrier jet.
And who doesn't?
And he went about trying to get it and obtain it from Pepsi for free. It's, $35 million or something. It's a significant prize.
He did what they said to do.
He did. Yes.
He did what they said to
points.
do. And then they said that was sarcastic. That was parody. We didn't really mean we're going to give you a Harrier jet.
By the way, I'm reading an article here that says F-16s, you can absolutely own them.
You can own them?
Yeah. I mean, they cost you between $12 and $80 million, which after tonight, Jeffy's probably going to have.
Oh, right.
From the
Thank you.
Powerball.
The lottery.
So
I'm not wasting it on an F-16. But
I don't think that's a waste. I think you might find that coming in handy sometime.
With $500 million?
I don't think there's any
of it on a
fat
jet?
guy
seating.
No, there is not.
Where would you go
there is not
to purchase it?
seating.
Like, would you go to Craigslist to try to see if there's any used F-16s available?
Because I've tried to actually fly with the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds, and they're like,
no,
that's not.
No, sorry, you can't.
What's a weight limit or something?
Yeah, there's no fat guy seating. It's not happening. Sorry. You can watch from the ground.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.